So you want a precision weapon that has a lot of ammo, a good status build, and a lot of slash damage? Well, stick around and find out. So, the Flux Rifle. A rather most recognized weapon by the Corpus. The Corpus elites wield it, though it wasn't always the case. But, what is the weapon? It's a laser. It has a medium slash damage, a lot of fire rate, a huge magazine, and a lot of status. So even probably right away you can probably tell this weapon's going to go. But there are a few characteristics about this weapon. This weapon caters to people who like more or less to move on the go, who want to be in the face of the enemy. Because due to the disadvantages, this is not a long-range weapon. And also, the ammo consumption is rather high. So there's two different negatives, but there's incredibly high fire rate, you can easily get the damage out very quick. And with a high status build, you can definitely get some good elements on there. Now, in terms of damage, the impact and puncture are not very great at 2.5, but the 18 slash will definitely get you through. And the accuracy is indeed 100, as it is a laser. Critical chance is not really there at all. So this is best used against, to be honest, it can be used by anyone with the proper elemental, but primarily used against Infestation or Corpus. The Greener might resist this weapon at first, until you put the proper elements on it. Alright, next section. Where you'll find the weapon is in your Tenno lab inside your dojo. It will take a Forma and plenty of Feldrion, so make sure you have that on hand, so you actually can make it. Now performance, as I mentioned, it's a laser, the straight one at that. So your targets will move fast, so you must also move with them. This can be a bit tedious, especially if they get knocked around by your weapon and they wander outside your attack range. But a bit of accuracy goes a long way on this weapon. So again, it's not the weapon that'll be the fault of accuracy, it will be you in this case, since it always will be straight. And it won't be negatively impacted by some mods at lower accuracy too, which is a nice benefit. Now in terms for damage, it certainly does the damage right. You don't have to worry about that. There's a level 1 with no mods and it's killing level 10 infestation very quickly. But also, as you noticed, I'm going through ammo quite a bit. The idea of this weapon is to kill your target very quickly, which has tropes and drawbacks. Even the Ancients, which are supposed to resist this weapon, don't stand a chance against it. But there's better alternatives for it, because I'm still using a just base slash build. Now, since it's a laser weapon, there's one major disadvantage. Its range. Laser weapons, all of them have a fixed range. This one, not very good. As for testing here, you can see I targeted that MOA, we'll tag it. 24 meters. It'll keep fighting and I'll show again. That's the biggest problem with you with this weapon. As I mentioned, it's not a long-range weapon. It's a short-range one. And you've got to close the gaps. That's what I mean by people want to be in the face of the enemy. So we'll inch our way towards this MOA. And there, we have now hit him. We'll tag the ground. 25 meters is its range, which is not that great. This bears similarity to the Gamma Core, which I covered. Again, with laser weapons, you must close the range. So that means you must be in the face of the enemy, which is a bit counterproductive since these weapons aren't very great for point-blank range, as the enemy moves around a lot. But anyway, at level 30, I did change up the build a little bit. As I mentioned, I'll only be having elements on this. So I put a base serration, nice and force, and high voltage to up the status build and the base element build. So that way, I have a lot of corrosion, which now helps us alleviate the armor on enemies, which I'll be testing it on Grenier. Through a bit few upgrades, you can further increase that status to beyond 55%, which 55 is plenty. You'll be guaranteed to hit your enemies in like seconds of an elemental, which could easily cripple them or hinder them. Damage-wise, does pretty damn good. Now, I did try level 40 Arid Lancers, but it proved to be too much, so I'll be going down to level 30. Now, the Arid Lancers, again, I took the corrosion on, and you can see it does cut right through them. Maybe I should have went for level 35, but the fact is that this is still a single one-on-one enemy gun. similar to the Gamma Core. If you put a punch through on, it could take on a group, but then you have to line them up properly to actually conserve ammo. But again, that range is working against me. I must close the range and then attack my opponent. It's not something I'm particularly fond of. Now, I'm not bothering to use my powers, even though my powers could help me here. I'm trying to use the weapon as naked as possible. But that's enough killing them, Gore will be there forever. Talk about the pros and cons now. On the pro side, we got high damage, very accurate, easily accessible if you have a clan. Also, it is very compact and very easy to use, providing you're a good shot. And it also has a very good status build. On the con side, however, we've got high ammo consumption, a fixed range of 25 meters, and the fact is that it only does primarily slash damage, so it is a negative trope that doesn't really do impact or puncture. So that's pretty much both sides of this spectrum there. And that is the Flux Rifle pros and cons. On to the last section. In this last section, we'll be looking at the weapon as a whole, seeing what you should do if you want to put it through multiple formats if you like it, to get it to close to endgame, if not endgame, and judge if it's actually worth it. So, we already know it's excellent status build. So we'll need mods like Rifle Altitude, Hammer Shot, you already have them linked in Force and High Voltage on. We need Thermite rounds and Rhyme rounds. These are mods that add elements and status chance, so they're much needed. We'll also need other mods to increase the range, such as Sinister Reach, to fix that 25-meter range. It's truly horrendous. Now, after all that, you won't have much room left. So you can have a bit of wiggle room. You can add more slash damage or more ammo capacity using either the split chamber, or if you already have slip chamber, you can have various other ones that increase the slash. Or you can add more ammo to this. But, in my opinion, is this weapon worth it? No. It used to be more powerful in the past, but since nerfs took place, in the current update of 18.3, the weapon is not worth it in my opinion. Thanks for watching, this has been Showcase, see you next time.